And I think that's really been a recurring theme throughout this entire series, which is that the charmed ones always find another way. Even when the elders insist there's no other way, they're able to do it. Hey guys, it's Kristen, and today we are talking about episode 15 of the Charmed reboot, and I have to say I think this might be my favorite episode of the entire season. We got to see so much, everything from sisterly moments to body switching to Medusa attacks. We got our first real look at Fiona and a huge twist cliffhanger that I for one was not expecting. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you like my videos, and of course drop down in the comments so that we can talk about Charmed. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this episode because it was a doozy. Let's get into it. So this episode we get a better look at the room that is underneath the Vera Vaughn house, which is called the Vortex Viribus, and it's used to kind of strengthen and focus powers. It causes Maggie's powers to accelerate, which kind of Freaky Friday her and Mel, and now they've switched places, and I think that's actually a really interesting power to see that, you know, when Maggie gets far along enough, she could actually not only read minds, but kind of walk in someone else's shoes and switch places with them. It also gives Macy a new power, the evil sight, and this allows her to see through the eyes of evil and even see evil events from the past. So when Macy starts having these dreams about people turning to stone, she understandably is freaked out and thinks that she's the one doing it with her demon powers, but it turns out that she actually has a connection to Medusa and is able to use her evil sight to see through her eyes. This actually reminded me of the OG Charmed episode with Phoebe when she was connected to the succubus, except in this case this is going to be like a permanent thing where she can see through the eyes of many different evil beings. And surprisingly, I feel like this is the first time that I've actually seen Medusa's like true story being told in media, or at least I didn't really know what her story was, which is that she was raped by Poseidon and then slut-shamed and then turned into a monster for something that wasn't even her fault. It's really interesting to see that a story from like Greek mythology so many years ago is still so relevant in today's society. I think the show handled this really well, and I was so happy to see Macy kind of step up and be like, no, I'm not going to listen to the elders who want me to chop off this woman's head who did nothing wrong. Like, she's the one who was hurt. She looked Medusa square in the eyes and she was like, girl, I see you. You are not to blame. Be free. And it worked. And I think that's really been a recurring theme throughout this entire series, which is that the charmed ones always find another way. Even when the elders insist there's no other way, they're able to do it. They saved Angela Wu from the Harbinger, they saved Harry from Tartarus, they saved everyone in this episode by just like taking a minute to talk to Medusa and like see her for what really happened to her. And to me, because of that, it just seems like either the elders are just really close-minded or they're working against the charmed ones. And we will get into that in a minute, because this episode definitely went there. We also, like I said, get to see Maggie and Mel kind of Freaky Friday and switch places in this episode, and I think they did a pretty good job playing each other. But what I particularly liked about this storyline was that it was addressing that idea that I think we all have been feeling, which is that where's the sisterhood? Mel and Maggie could see that like they were kind of pulling away from each other, and this was kind of that solution to fix it. After living a day in each other's lives, they realized kind of how hard the other one has it, and were able to really understand each other better and relate to each other more. My only wish was that Macy had been involved in this in some way. Not necessarily even in the body switching, but at the end they just had this really great like sisterly moment, and I wish Macy had been involved in that. And while they're switched, Maggie learns about Fiona, and we finally get to see what is the deal with Fiona. That's something that we've been waiting for like most of this season. It turns out that Fiona is the keeper of the secret flame, which is where all magic comes from, and she's immortal. And she's been locked in Tartarus all these years because the elders put her there. And, you know, that definitely begs the question, why did they do that? And according to the Sarkana, they did it because she was a powerful woman who could not be controlled by them, and they feared her. And that's kind of messed up that the elders will just punish anyone that won't listen to them, that, you know, that they can't control. We also get to learn a lot more about Macy and her demon side, especially when she starts developing this new power. After Macy helps Medusa move on, she actually brings up this really interesting kind of idea of maybe things are not so black and white when it comes to good versus evil. You know, having this sight helps her see from Medusa's side and realize that like maybe not all demons demons are as bad as they seem. I really like this idea of like a magical gray area. Maybe demons aren't all bad and witches and elders aren't all good. It kind of brings this like human quality to the story where like there is more than one side, you know, not everything is wholly good or evil. And I think it's gonna be really cool to see Macy utilize kind of both sides of herself to understand magic and this world that they're in even more. And of course that brings us to the moment we've all been waiting for, that crazy twist ending at the end of this episode. Oh my gosh, I am still mind blown after that. Basically there's an elder that's been helping Macy this episode try to learn a little bit more about her demon side and what that means, and once she learns about this evil site she's like, oh, this is awesome, we can use this to try to find out who killed your mom, who killed all these other elders, let's do this. She throws this like huge metal like needle stick thing into Macy's head and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Is she gonna kill Macy? But instead it makes Macy have this vision of the past and we get to see who killed their mom. And it is freaking Charity! I don't even know what to think about this because there's so many things that could be going on. In that scene we see her looking down from the window in the attic at Marisol's dead body, and then she looks into this mirror and says, what have I done? Then we get back to the present. Charity appears in the attic, snaps the neck of that elder. What is going on? I mean, there are so many different ways we could look at this. Is Charity evil? Or is Charity kind of like Thanos and doing what she thinks is best for the greater good? Has she been limiting the girls and their magic this whole time? Is she possessed by some type of demon? Is Harry in on this? I don't know who we can trust. I just know that nothing is as it seems and I cannot wait to see what happens in this next episode. I would love to hear what you guys think is going on here, so if you have any theories, please leave them down in the comments. And you know, I gotta say, even though they tackled a lot in this episode, like a lot went on, I really think that the pacing was really on point. I feel like this is what I want to see in every Charmed episode. This kind of embodied what I hope that they do in the future. You know, we got sisterhood, we got magic, we got twists and turns that actually address what's going on in the story. And even that Monster of the Week, Medusa, it was such a powerful story. It had so much depth. It really went to a place that you weren't necessarily expecting and brought some heart to the story as well. I just really loved this entire episode. Like, this is what I want from Charmed. If you guys like this video, make sure to check out my other Charmed reviews and join me in the comments to continue the conversation. I cannot wait to talk about this episode with you guys. See ya!